Hey, Nikki here, and in this video I'm going to show you 3 exercise progressions for core stability. So there are a lot of ways to do core stability, and what I want you to think of this is more about the position and then pick exercises in those positions that work for you rather than getting hung up on the best exercise, because there is no such thing as a best exercise. So core stability is basically how still can I hold my core while I move my arms and my legs. So I'm going to show you the idea of it on your back, on hands and knees, and then in standing, because that is usually the progression that we are going to practice them in as we get stronger or just in a warm-up. So if you're going to be on your back, classic core stability 101 is, of course, the dead bug. I'm sure you've seen it. So I'll give you a little fun twist on it, though, if you're bored. So you're going to come onto your back. Of course, you can use a mat. Standard dead bug 101 is legs and tabletop, arms in the air, and then it's going to be something like the arm or the leg moves, and as you do this, you're trying not to lift your ribs off the ground. And of course, you have the option of alternating sides or doing one side at a time. But the idea here is no rock and rolling or lifting through the ribs and pelvis, just the arms and legs move. Now, that can be really hard to feel, especially if you've had a history of injury or you're hypermobile or you've recently had back pain. So something that you can do to feel more in that dead bug is going to be to add a prop. So I find this makes it both harder and easier. It makes it easier to do the exercise well, but it makes the exercise feel harder at the same time. So what you can do is you can press the yoga block into your leg, and then the other arm and leg will come up. I'm going to try not to rock side to side, and then, I'm shaking a lot more of my core now that I have this feedback loop. And then, of course, you could do the other side. So once you feel pretty good on your back, all is well. You can take it and you can do this idea on your hands and knees. Really common version of this that I rather like, it's a setup for a lot of exercises, is simply just a hover. So your toes are tucked under, and then you just hover your knees off the ground and you hang out here and you feel your core engage for, let's say, 30 seconds plus. Once you are good at that, though, there are a lot of different ways that you can challenge this core stability in that quadruped or hand and knee position. So, for example, I can come up and I can play with lifting an opposite arm and leg. I can also play with tapping. I can tap and lift a leg, and so on. From there, I can even take this on the move. So I can actually play with a crawl pattern, side to side, or I can play with a crawl pattern, front and back. So again, I want you to notice how it's the position that's challenging core stability, and then based off of your strength and control in that position, you can add some unique twists onto it. So from then, we do want to take our core work into standing. There is a lot of ways to do this. There are a lot of exercises for this. I'm giving you one example today. So, good example of standing core work when we add load. And yes, we do want to add load because, again, we live in standing and load gives us feedback and makes us stronger. It's going to be something like a single arm deadlift. So you won't need your heaviest deadlift weight, but what this is going to do is it's going to stop you from rotating. It's an anti-rotation exercise. So you're trying to do this exercise and not twist or shift. So you set up however you prefer to for a deadlift. You square off. Notice I've got my 2 hands hopefully in about the same place. And then I'm just going to stand up and then take it down and touch, trying to keep my pelvis square. Let me show you what that looks like from the side. By the way, you can hold the weight like this or like this. It's just personal preference. So I'm going to stand up. And then as I come down, I don't want to be shifting. I just want to see if I can just land it at the same time. And as I do this, I might feel some work on one or both sides of my core. So those are a few ideas for progressions. I hope they give you some inspiration. But if you got any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to answer.